Welcome to my crying rap of 2025. I am sorry, but not sorry for procrastinating on this video. I had other priorities in life, and if you keep watching, you might find out why I did not finish this video in time. Anyways, this year, we're going for a deeper dive. You might ask,
what does that mean?
well, apart from the things that I included in 2024's crying rap, I decided to add a few more fun facts that we can go through. But here comes the big question. How many times did I cry this year? 33 times, which was a whole 7 times less than last year. But I didn't really like this number because I felt like I was wondering about something else. How many minutes did I cry this year? So I added another system where I divided my cries into 3 different levels. A small cry, which is 0 to 10 minutes, a medium cry, which is 10 to 20 minutes, and a big cry, which is over 20 minutes. And I've cried 11 small cries, 3 medium cries, and 19 big cries. My shortest cry only lasted for 1 minute because my parents got mad at me for playing Genshin, and I had a quick, short mental breakdown over it. And my biggest cry lasted for 90 minutes. It's about everything, but mostly because of my parents. So how many minutes in total did I cry? 986 minutes, or 16 hours and 26 minutes. Why? Why did I cry so much? It's mostly because of my parents. Just like last year. 15 times. But there has been other silly reasons too, like physics and pushed by stranger. It's actually a pretty crazy story in my opinion. I was taking the bus home after school and it was really crowded that day. Normally, you would have to show your ticket to the driver and enter from the front. So like, oh, I have paid the ticket, you know. But I already paid for my ticket. So I was like, I think it'll be faster if I went up from the back. So you don't have to like stand in a queue. But then a guy saw me and he just pushed me down. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I paid for my ticket. And he was like,
You're so rude.
and I was like, no, let me up. And then he just dragged me down from the bus. And I was so scared because he's a grown-ass man and he was like twice my size. And I'm like, bro, I'm not doing anything illegal. I'm just trying to like hurry up. Come on. And then I cried on the bus because he seemed like he had anger issues. What if he pulls out a knife from his pocket and then just stabs me? I know it's very unlikely and that wasn't the case, but I was just surprised that someone would get physical over a minor inconvenience like that. I know I went very off topic with the story, but I thought it was fun mentioning. But not all of my cries were necessarily bad. I also cried because I was happy or sleepy. Now let's check out my cries over the months. The first cry happened 23rd January, and it was because of my family. And the last cry happened 29th December, and it was also because of my family. And now all the cries in between. The dark pink stands for bigger cries, and lighter for medium, lightest for small, and white for not sad cries. Even if I had most of my bigger cries in September and October, I felt like December would still be my saddest month because I cried 6 times and longest in total. And I think June would probably be my happiest month because I only had a small cry once. But here are the runner-ups for the saddest month because I also cried like over 100 minutes multiple times. Apart from the worst month, what is the worst hour of the day? As you can see, I tend to cry more when it's late, and I think that is very reasonable. But I don't really understand why I cried the most at 7 p.m. Weird. Now, if you're confused how I cried in the middle of the day, this might somewhat explain it. As you can see, I love crying in my room. Who doesn't love crying in their room? Apart from that, I've also cried at therapy, when I talk about my problems, also in the shower, and then multiple times at school or in the classroom, and of course the bus that I just mentioned. So how did I fix my problems? I talked a lot to my friends, but also to GPT once again. I also decided to include crying because a few times I didn't really do anything. I just sat there and cried and felt better, and that is because of biology, how your body releases hormones and how it relieves stress. So if you feel bad, you don't necessarily have to do anything. You can just sit there and cry. I also tried breathing exercises a few times and I feel like it helped. Or you can doom scroll and play Genshin, I guess. Now, it's finally time for the honorable mention of the year. And this award goes to Cine! I feel like my biggest achievement in 2025 was probably starting to dance again, and Cindy inspired me to do it. We're dancing together. Apart from that, Cindy also sings, and she gave me a lot of courage when I had to perform. But nothing beats that experience when I was sick once, and Cindy asked me if I wanted boba, and I was like, oh, I wish. And then she actually bought it and delivered it to my house. That was like the cutest thing I've ever experienced, and I am so thankful I got to meet her. And overall, Cindy's just a very sweet person. She has many friends, and she tries to care for them all. She's always very inclusive. When she sees me alone, she tries to cheer me up, and just generally adorable. I love her energy. That's why I think that Cindy deserves the honorable mention of 2025. Anyways, thank you for watching this very, very late crying rat, and I hope you guys cry less in the rest of 2026. I'll see you this year, next year, maybe.